Hey everyone, we're here today to look at a book that was just released by two guys named Joesph and Dameon, and it's called Keeping the Ball Alive, 30 Years of Stern Pinball. It pretty much goes over the history of Stern Pinball, some of the games, or most of the games that were released from the 30 years as it indicates, from its Sega era to its Stern era, and all kinds of stuff inside. Kind of shows a history of the actual factory. Some pictures of that inside, and just some pictures of other like random things of Stern, some of the events that they held, some of the stars that kind of starred in their pinball machines, pictures of them, stuff like that. So it's a pretty good book. You know, people are pretty much bashing it, or not everybody, but a lot of people. And the reason why is because the two guys who, I guess, published the book, it was a Kickstarter project that this book was supposed to be released like 3 years ago or something like that. Finally, it's released now. It went, the Kickstarter monies were pretty high at that time even, but then they added more money to the end, at the end of shipping, that kind of even increased the price even more on the book. So, is it worth the price of what I paid for the book? Probably not. I have a lot of other books that are a lot better. There's a company called Bitmap Books and stuff like that. They put some really great books out for a cheaper price, and they're getting shipped from overseas as well, and they're a lot cheaper than this book. But you know, finally got the book. It is a pretty good book. It's not horrible. It is pretty good. So I'm happy to finally get it, and I'll just kind of forget the cost and go on with my life. So that's kind of how I feel about it. But the book is, like I said, it's pretty entertaining. We'll go through the book, kind of look at some pictures and some pages of what the book consists of. There are 3 versions of this book that came out. This is like the cheaper one. There's like a slash version, and there's like a middle version that was signed by all the designers and stuff like that. So let's go through the book, look at some pages, and just look at the content of the book and see what you think. Also, with the book that was released with my version, you got a t-shirt, which is actually a pretty good quality t-shirt. It's pretty soft. Again, it's pretty good quality. This is Keeping the Ball Alive, like the book. And a poster with all the games and I guess the year of when they were released, stuff like that. It's decent. I don't know if I'm ever going to hang it up or anything, but it does have it documents all the pinballs from whatever era and whatever year. And the icon, like the pictures of the pinball machines are a little small, but again, they had to do that to fit it, I guess, on this size of paper. But these were the 2 things that were kind of included with the actual book as well, with the price. So that was kind of contributing to the price of what the actual book and the poster and the t-shirt cost, and the shipping and all that kind of stuff. So that was the other added content with the book. So let's go through the book and take a look and see the contents of the book. Okay, so this is the table of contents of the book, just to kind of give an overview of what's in the book. It starts off on this far left. It says the story, you know, different stories about Stern and I guess the people that they met, Sega years, you know, when pinball was kind of going through its bad time, going dark, rebuilding, all that kind of stuff. Then it has like the Data East era, Laser War down to Guns N' Roses. Then it has Sega, Maverick down to South Park. Then it has Stern when they kind of went that way, from Striker Extreme all the way down to Aerosmith. So that was kind of the timeline of the games that they have in the book as when it was produced. So the last game up to date is Aerosmith. So like I'm trying to think what's after, like Iron Maiden, Star Wars, all that's not in here. So, and I think they came out actually after the book was released, or after it was kickstarted, but still, I guess those guys kind of went to a certain game. That's what they, you know, had pictures for and all that, and that's what they went up to. So that was kind of how it worked out. So again, let's kind of just go through a couple pages here. You know, the quality of the paper is actually really good. It's thick. You know, the pictures are pretty good. I heard some bashing on Pin's side about the artwork or the pictures, the way that they're kind of photoshopped and stuff like that. I don't know. The quality, I think, is a pretty good book. Again, is it worth the price of what I paid? Probably not. But again, the quality is actually pretty decent in the book. So I could, you know, give it that. So again, it talks about like Gary Stern on his side. I'm not going to go through every page because, you know, some people get mad. Like the publishers get mad because you're kind of going through every page in the book and kind of showing everybody instead of them buying it. Which I actually, buying this book is, I don't think, very easily now because it was a Kickstarter project and they didn't make additional books. So I guess whoever's in the Kickstarters kind of got what they got, and I think that's it. Unless somebody sells it on eBay or on Pinside or something like that. So, you know, this talks about Jurassic Park and Guns N' Roses. You know, again, it shows like some people that they met down the line, you know, a couple Hollywood stars, stuff like that, musicians. You know, they show some things of the different Sparkies that came out, some of the prototypes, stuff like that. Here's a whole Batman page on this side with the side art of the Super LE, stuff like that. So now here's another part of the book where they have the designers. They talk about the designers and like a little blurb over here about each of the guys. There's a designer that's missing from here. For some reason, I think we all know why. So here's the Making of Pinball. So here's inside the factory. There's a lot of pictures of like wire looms and stuff like that. I guess they could have maybe taken pictures of other things, but again, it's fine. Here's some inserts, some play fields, like I guess and the racks, stuff like that. Again, here's some wire looms for Star Trek. Here's some more wire looms, pictures of, you know, for whatever game that is. You know, some people in the factory. There's some flippers, some pieces for Star Trek, Guardians, some people soldering. You know, get more pictures of Star Trek on the line. Here's some play fields or actual games that are ready to go into cabinets. So, you know, pictures like that. Again, some Star Trek cabinets, some of the artwork. Some people working on games. So here we go, and we're going to start going into now like the pinball section here. So it has like Data East, and then all the games are broken down on here to what games that they show from Data East. So it starts off with like Laser War, which is here. And if you look at the pages, you know, they got the play field, and they got a lot of pictures on the sides of like, you know, they have a little blurb of talking about like what the game is kind of made up of and stuff like that, the different parts of the game. What they should have, in my opinion, maybe also had on here, which I don't see, is the designer of who designed the actual game. They don't list that, I don't believe, but that's just one thing that I would kind of have added. But again, I'm just happy to have gotten the book finally. So here's another one. Here's like Simpsons and Back to the Future. And again, the paper quality is really good. The pictures, I think, are pretty good as well. You know, the artwork or whatever. It's a little cluttered, but it's fine. Here's Star Wars, Data East. Here's Last Action Hero, Jurassic Park. Again, they might show like a prototype picture or something here, or just different pieces of the game that you might not have seen. It'd be nice if they maybe showed some more prototype images or something like that, because I kind of thought like that was the route they were going to go with a lot of prototype stuff, but it doesn't really seem that way. But you know, they got like fun facts, stuff like that. So this is the Data East section. GoldenEye, Apollo 13. Yeah, so this is now Sega they went into here. Yeah, so here's the Sega part. I'm looking at the pinball machine. I'm like, looks like Sega. So yeah, so here's Sega. So it gives the years of when it was incarnated, of the years 94 to 99. They were Sega. Again, lists the games Maverick to Lost in Space. So again, kind of the same thing. The pictures, Star Wars, Space Jam, Viper, Starship Troopers, stuff like that. And they're all the same, you know, it's just the same now. It's just like a rundown of all the games that they have, you know, for each era of the company at this point. Harley Davidson, South Park, you know, so they just show Kenny like in different positions, I guess, or wherever they got the toy from. So here's Stern, the era of Stern. Striker Extreme down to, has Aerosmith, Whoa Nelly, NASCAR, stuff like that. So this is Striker Extreme, Sharky Shootout, Austin Powers, Monopoly. So it's kind of cool to see the list of the different games of like what Stern kind of came out with all in one book. So that's kind of cool. It's just good to have in your library, I guess, if you're a pinball fan. And I have other pinball books that aren't really that great, like that Todd Tuckey book that got released that wasn't really that great. But this book is actually not that bad. It's pretty good. So here's Grand Prix, which is weird because they have Grand Prix, which is were released in Europe, but NASCAR was released in America. But they have like less talking about NASCAR than they do Grand Prix, which is more of a European game. So I don't know, just again another little peeve, I guess, and maybe there's a reason for it. I don't know, but that's just my opinion. World Poker Tour, and again, it puts the years on the corners too of when the game was released, which is good. But it would have been, like I said, it would have been cool if they would have put the designer's name or just the people who worked on the game, the designer, the programmer, you know, the artist, stuff like that. Here's Dale Jr. Breakdown of that, which is close to NASCAR, I guess, so maybe that was their thinking. Family Guy, Spider-Man, again, more images of the different prototypes of the different figures they use, stuff like that. Indiana Jones, Batman. Some of the pages, or the games took up more pages, I guess, of artwork and stuff like that they wanted to highlight. CSI. And then we work our way back down to Tron. Again, more artwork and more pictures of it. Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Metallica has like the prototype of the different sneaks, stuff like that. Again, of the electric chair, Sparky. Avengers, X-Men, Star Trek, good game, Mustang, Walking Dead, WrestleMania, Whoa Nelly, Kiss, Game of Thrones, Ghostbusters, Batman, and Aerosmith, and that's the last game. Yeah, Batman, again, that has a lot of different artwork and stuff like that too, showing the topper, showing the different versions, the Super LE, the Premium, the Pro, the Penguin shooter rod, stuff like that, so it's kind of cool. Topper, layout of the playfield, stuff like that. George Gomez's, I guess, CAD artwork up on the top over there, and Aerosmith. So, and that's it, and that's the end of the book. So it's pretty big. I mean, it has 245 pages or something like that. Here's the Kickstarter backers in the very back. And I think that's really it. Yeah, so that's really it. So that's the book. Again, it's a pretty good book. Again, was it overpriced? Yeah, probably. But I'm just glad to finally have gotten it. they did finally release it with all the different problems that they had and all the different things that they went through to finally get this book released. And again, finally, it has been released and it's arriving at people's houses and stuff like that. So I'm glad for that. So again, thanks for watching my videos. Really appreciate it. You can see everything at www.pinballsupernova.com. I have my Facebook page, my Instagram page, my YouTube channel, my blog, my website, all those different things that you could go to. Everything is linkable at www.pinballsupernova.com. So again, thanks for the subscriptions. I really appreciate it, and the likes and stuff like that. So till the next video, take care.